Hello, friends. Chris Corsi here, president of Thrive Today. Welcome to the Relational Skills in Real Life podcast. Today is a topic that I think we're all going to need. How do we hold on to peace? And how do we recognize when we lose our peace and get our peace back? So we call it the canary in the coal mine here is really the topic of today's focus. And so the goal here, as we start learning relational skills, is we get really good at noticing when your peace drops out. Because what happens when you lose your peace, your brain's well on its way to enemy mode if it's not already in enemy mode. And so this means that something's going wrong, right? If it was a car, then the car would be having some serious issues and the dashboard lights would be coming on saying maintenance required, maintenance needed. So when we lose our peace, maintenance is needed. Something needs to happen here. And for many of us, we're the last to know when we lose our peace. The people around us have recognized that we've lost our peace. People in our lives, our families, our coworkers, our friends, our kids, they all notice when we lose our peace, but sometimes we don't recognize it, or at least we don't recognize it for a while. And so learning to be more present and relational and have a little bit of self-awareness means that you get really good at losing your peace. This is a skill I try to teach everybody. Teachers, notice when you lose your peace or your class has lost their peace. Pastors, notice when you and your staff lose your peace, or your congregation or your small group leaders notice when people lose their peace. We can get really good at recognizing when our peace is gone and we need to refresh our peace. And so what we're going to do here is I actually created a video for social media. We're going to listen to me on the social media video, talk about the canary in the coal mine, and then I'll follow up here after the video. Today, your peace levels are the canary in the coal mine. That's right. Your peace levels are the canary in the coal mine. Just this morning, I lost my peace. There was some news that I heard about things happening in our country and some of the decisions that our leaders are making. And I noticed my peace disappeared. It flew out the window. It was gone. I noticed I felt tense. I felt anxious. I needed to take a deep breath, get relational, and just interact with the Lord a little bit and talk to the living God about how to get my peace back, because he is the Prince of Peace. So after getting relational, I interacted with the Lord and I just said, Lord, what do you see here? I need your perspective. And I had a thought, and my thought was, my job is to be faithful to God and stay focused on what God is saying and doing. That's my job. My job is not to try to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, but my job is to be faithful to God and to keep my eyes fixed on what God is saying and doing. Just like Jesus, who said and did what he heard and what he saw his Father doing. And I also had the thought that God has a plan, and that in the midst of all this out of control, helpless, powerless feelings, God has a plan. And there was another specific thought that really brought me a lot of comfort, which was feeling like the Lord said, Chris, notice when you lose your peace and turn to me. Notice when you lose your peace and turn to me. And you know what? That just really rang true, because it's a message I really feel pretty passionate about. You see, your peace levels tell a story about how you're doing. And we just don't really pay attention to our peace levels, but maybe the people around us are noticing when we've lost our peace. So we can learn to pay attention to our peace levels and get our peace back. And this is where it comes back to the canary in the coal mine. Canaries were used to detect dangerous levels of carbon monoxide, which was an odorless gas. It was a colorless gas that would kill people, and the canaries would be prone to having problems from that gas well before a human would. So it was kind of a warning sign. So your peace levels are a warning sign to help you stay your relational self and be the best version of yourself. And in the Joy Switch, I talk about the peace check. You can do a quick peace check to see how are you doing, which is just paying attention to your body and evaluating your breathing. So how's my body? How's my breathing? Where's your attention and your focus? What are you focused on? Things that are bringing you joy and peace, or things that are pain and problems that's robbing your joy and your peace? Do you have calm or busy thoughts, right? So as you pay attention to your focus, what kind of thoughts are you having? Are they charging your battery or draining your battery? And then easing muscle tension. Your muscle tension also tells the story. So do the peace check. If you're not relational, then what's going on? And there's probably a good reason for it. take some deep breaths, get your peace back by connecting with people, connecting with the living God, and watch what happens when the peace grows. All right, friends. Well, I hope that really inspires you here. The nice thing about what I was saying in that video is we all can learn to recognize when our peace is gone. And when your peace is gone, you can guarantee that your brain has lost capacity. And when I lose capacity, it's hard for me to build any joy. It's going to be hard for me to think clearly. It's going to be hard for my body to rest and relax. It's going to be hard for me to quiet. There are endless things in this world that will rob your peace. So the good news is what we can do is we're learning to interact with the living God. And what I shared in the video really was my process of noticing when fear kicked in, I lost my peace. And when we lose our peace, we can say, you know what, something just happened here. I better check on what just happened under the hood. And so I got relational. I interacted with Jesus. And one of the things that quickly came up is I realized I was carrying more weight than I needed to carry. Fear kicked in. My brain went into enemy mode and I was feeling responsible. And so sharing minds with Jesus after getting relational actually gave me the clarity and the relief that I needed. It refreshed my peace and my capacity. So after that little interaction, didn't take very long, I felt peaceful, I felt hopeful, I felt relational. And so one of the reasons it's hard to do this is because we slip into enemy mode and our brain just wants to amplify the fear and amplify what we're worried about or amplify the pain. So when we slip into enemy mode, we want to get relational, we want to quiet ourselves and do whatever helps you get your relational circuits working again. We call that skill zero. And then what we do is we start interacting with Jesus about what's going on and what we need. And we share minds with the Lord. We call that skill 13 God sight. We start seeing some of what God sees. And thankfully, in Jesus's tender mercy and his grace, he helped me see, yep, lost your peace because you're afraid, you're in enemy mode, you're carrying too much weight. And I love that the thoughts that I had not only brought relief as I asked Jesus what was he seeing there. I felt like he said, Chris, notice when you lose your peace and turn to me. Like that's what we do. And my job is to be faithful to God, not carry the weight of the world. That's your job as well, friends. Your job is not to carry the weight of the world. And anytime you try to lift up the world, you're going to lose your peace. Anytime you're trying to carry something you're not meant to carry, you're going to lose your peace. So we can be the people who suffer well, stay relational, hold on to peace, live relationally, and interact with the living God in ways that joy starts leaking out and our peace grows.